Hey there, fishing fans. This is Debbie Hansen for TakeMeFishing.org, and today we're just going to talk a little bit about how to humanely catch a fish. In other words, whether you're practicing catch and release or you're bringing a fish home for the dinner table, how to ensure that you're placing the least amount of stress and trauma on that fish as possible and why it matters. Now, many people think when you're practicing catch and release, for example, if you're just fishing for sport or the fish isn't within the regulations, that's really the only time it matters how you handle that fish. But that's actually not the case, and here's why. Even when you're bringing that fish home for the dinner table, the more stress and trauma you place on that fish, the more lactic acid builds up in its muscles and the more of the stress hormone cortisol builds up in its blood system, which can affect the flavor of the meat or your fillet. So in either way, you want to make sure that you're handling your catch in a humane manner, as humanely as possible. So here's a few things that you can do. First and foremost, use Barblex hooks whenever possible. You can either get Barblex hooks at your local tackle shop, or if they don't have them, it's really easy just to pinch the barbs down on your hook using a pair of pliers or forceps. And that's just going to ensure that you're able to remove that hook much quicker and it causes less damage to that fish. Next, you want to make sure that you reduce your landing time and you fight that fish as quickly as possible. And what you want to do here is always make sure that you're using the appropriate weight, tackle, and gear given the species and the size of fish that you're targeting. If you're not sure, ask your local tackle shop for advice or ask an experienced angler, and they'll help you make sure that you've got the right tackle and gear set up so you're not fighting that fish on lighter tackle than you should be using, and it's taking you longer to bring that fish to the boat, which in turn causes more stress to that fish. And then last but certainly not least, handle that fish with care once you do bring it in the boat. Leave it in the water as long as possible until you're ready to take it out and remove that hook, and then don't let it thrash around on the boat deck. That's only going to cause additional stress and trauma and damage to that fish. Now, from here, if you're going to bring your fish home, you want to make sure that you fillet it properly and you store it properly. So head on over to the How to Fillet a Fish section at TakeMeFishing.org and learn more about that. If you're going to keep your catch, if you're going to release it, head on over and read proper catch and release techniques. That's it. Tight lines, happy fishing from Debbie Hansen and TakeMeFishing.org.